So we have broken a lot of stories on the Amber Heard Johnny Depp brouhaha, and the latest is very interesting. There are two ear witnesses, meaning there are two people who heard something that could be extremely important when this case goes to court next month. And let me explain. There are two bodyguards who work for them, who were in their downtown apartment when this happened on May 21st. This whole argument that allegedly ended with him throwing an iPhone. So the two bodyguards are, in fact, Reagan, why don't you put up this diagram? And I want to show you what this is, because this is the lay of the land of the apartment. So the two bodyguards are in the entryway of the apartment. They're inside the apartment, and we're told Johnny and Amber both knew they were there, but they were giving them some space because they heard the argument. So all of a sudden, they claim, and we know this, they are claiming that Amber screamed, "Stop hitting me. Stop hitting me." As soon as they heard that, they bolted.
They move into the room.
And they say it took 1 second. And they see Amber sitting on the sofa in the living room. This is an open floor plan. Johnny is in the kitchen by the island 20 feet from her when she screamed it. It literally took 1 second for them to come out and see them. And they are saying that she was just lying. Now, this adds to the rest of their story, which squares with what the cops say, which is that they saw no injuries to her body, no injuries on her face. They say there were no broken glasses around the apartment. The cops tell us that they saw no injuries when they responded, and they saw no disarray in the apartment. Amber now has photographs of her badly bruised and showed up in court badly bruised, and shows pictures in her legal documents of glass all over the apartment.
Right. Yeah, Harvey, this is the part of this story that does not make sense to me. Like you said, that she put photographs in her documents clearly showing bruising on her face. One of them even looks like an iPhone. It's like a square. So all of that makes sense if what she alleges is true. We also have video and photos of her leaving court last week where you can clearly see the bruising on her cheek. So,
Mike, what they're saying is she inflicted this herself or had somebody do it for her to frame it.
That's what they're not saying it, but that's the only thing they can be insinuating.
That's what they are.
And just to me, it seems so far-fetched that someone would injure themselves. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened in the past. I'm sure that that has happened in the past, but it just seems such a high-profile couple. Amber Heard being a big actress, Johnny Depp obviously an A-list actor. How in the world has it come down to it's possible she may have inflicted injury on herself to get back at her husband?
I can tell you something that I haven't even told you. I was on the phone with somebody from LAPD 20 minutes ago. They don't believe her. I mean, they just don't believe her. And they were clear, at least the person I spoke to was pretty clear, they just don't believe her because the officers went out, they looked at her, they say they would have arrested him had they seen any kind of injuries on her face.
Even if she didn't want to press charges.
Even if she didn't want to press charges. Right. It happens all the time.
Harvey, they're even saying that, you know, she put in pictures in her restraining order documents of like broken glass, like he threw a bottle, according to her, and it smashed everywhere.
But the cops say they saw nothing.
They said that none of that was there, and they actually were inside the apartment.
And the bodyguards say that too.
It's mind-blowing that
Well, Mike, you know the implication, right? The implication is she said, "I'll get him," and she broke the glass and she hit herself with the iPhone.
Remember,
that's what they're saying.
As for why she would yell, "Stop hitting me," one, it could be for the bodyguards, but also remember that she was on the phone at the time with a friend, right?
With a friend who then called 911.
Right, who then called 911. So if she said that, it was for the friend's benefit.
You know what's interesting, Harvey? When officers got there, not only did she just say she didn't want to deal with it, like the officers checked the house, all she would say is, "I got an argument with my husband," never mentioned Johnny by name or anything, and never said she was anybody of importance either.
So this is a weird story, and again, the judge issued a temporary restraining order, but that's without a hearing. There's going to be a hearing in, I think, around June 20th, and at that point, during the hearing, they're going to have testimony. We know the bodyguards are going to testify, and then the judge is going to have to make a determination. Hey,
who's telling the truth?
Who's telling the truth? And somebody's lying.
And I wanted to mention one more thing. The two biggest things here are, one, even though they work for Johnny Depp, those two bodyguards' testimony will be the biggest thing because they're
They're the only- they're the
They're
only-
there. They were
they're the
there.
closest
right.
thing to
They're
witnesses,
the
right,
closest
right.
thing to someone that's not involved. And second, those LAPD cards, we put them on the website, Harvey, where an officer or two of them went out to the house, talked to her, claim now through their spokespeople at LAPD that they didn't see anything, but they had enough whatever to write down on a card, doesn't want to report it, call us back if you change your mind. That, when you look at that card, it does smell like they knew it was more than just an argument with a husband.
Well-
it just
Well,
looks that way
You guys
to me.
know.
Well, they have to
you guys
also
know that.
Knowing
They're
police
protecting
officers,
themselves.
they're
They're protecting
protecting
themselves
themselves.
also.
Wait. Do you
Right.
know that if there's any mark in a domestic violence situation, they are
They
forced
arrest.
by law. They have to take a
I
report.
know the law.
100%.
What
They
I'm-
have to take
what
a
I'm
report.
saying is, if you look at that card, it looks like the officers know that this is a really heavy situation, and they're writing all this out so that they have proof to her. If you want to say what happened here, we'll come back and take the report. So honestly, those officers and those security guards, those four people
Here's the thing.
are going to be the
they
key
got
witnesses.
They got a 911 call, and we still need to hear the 911 call, Mike. And you don't know what was said in the 911 call. I mean, it may, you know, as far as the officers know, the person could have said, "Oh, Amber was being hit because she screamed, 'Stop hitting
Right.
me.'"
Right.
So listen, the smell level of it with a 911 call would, to me, require prudence on the part of the officers to say, "Look, if you change your mind and you feel like you're in danger, call us back." But that doesn't mean they saw injury, and that doesn't mean they saw glass on the floor. It sounds like they didn't.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
I'm Dana from Washington, D.C. So this situation is so tough all around because those bodyguards, they're on his payroll, but you never, ever, ever want to think that a woman is lying about something so serious. But we have his ex of 14 years saying he's a wonderful guy. This is not his character. We have the LAPD. Now we have these two security guards. So I think this is one of those rare cases where we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out in court and give Johnny Depp the benefit of the doubt.
It is innocent until proven guilty. At least that's the theory. That isn't
Right.
always the case, but it is the theory.